many moons since we've been in my library. But hello, if you're new here, my name is Taz. Welcome to my booktube channel, where on this corner of the internet, we carve out a space to talk about all of the books that I'm reading, all of the books that I'm loving, and some slice of life Boston things as well. It is Friday. I just got back from the gynecologist. I have some Friday work responsibilities, but are you okay? But beyond that, I think I'm going to kind of take this as an opportunity. Ma'am, can I help you? You have got so many sleepies. Ma'am, we do not do that. Let me just get those sleepies and you can go on your way. Okay? Thank you. As I was saying, it is Friday. I am ready for the weekend. Work has been so busy lately. I feel like that is such an ongoing theme on my channel, but I make no apologies because life is busy and sorry, Beppo is in the corner pawing at things that she shouldn't have. Ma'am, thank you. Do you want out? Is that what you want? You want out? There you go. As I was saying, today is Friday. I am so ready for this weekend. Work has been really busy and I have a cat staring at me through the door. The thing about Beppo is she just wants to be included. So if you are in a room that she does not have access to, it's a big problem. But then once she's in that room, she does not want to be with you. Anyway, for like the fifth time, what I've been trying to say, it's the weekend. I'm ready for the weekend and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of reading. I don't have the book in this room, so I'm not gonna go get it, but I am currently reading Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia and I'm really enjoying it. I'm just south of 100 pages into it, so the story hasn't really quite picked up. I'm really there for the horror film vibes. I've only read one other Silvia Moreno Garcia book, and that was actually this year, so she's a new to me author, and I'm happily exploring her backlist. But I did read Mexican Gothic. I'm a big sucker for spore. I love mushrooms, as you can probably pick out the various mushrooms just on my bookshelf. But I read Mexican Gothic and I really loved it, and so I'm just enjoying my time reading this book. It hasn't gotten super spooky yet, but I'm sure that will happen soon, and once it does, I don't think I'm going to be putting the book down. So my plan is to finish Silver Nitrate today, because I am going to an author event tomorrow at the Boston Public Library where Silvia Moreno Garcia is going to be interviewed and talking about her books. So I definitely want to get at least 2 books under my belt of hers before going in, because they are her 2 latest books. I do have a couple more of her books that I already own, mostly just because they tickled my fancy or I found them at a thrift bookshop, but those books are Gods of Jade and I want to say Shadow, but I don't think that that's right. And then the other one is The Beautiful Ones. I think Silvia Moreno Garcia writes very beautifully. She also writes super atmospherically, and I can tell she's going to be a favorite going forward. So I'm excited about that. And then on Sunday, I'm hanging out with Kat and Ivana. We are going to get brunch for Kat's birthday, and then we are going to go thrifting. And I've never been to this thrift shop before, but everyone says that this is the thrift shop to go to if you live in the greater Boston area. So really fun things to do, but let's first wrap up our Friday. not getting off. Oh, are we? We're done.
Her elder sister is sleeping, and meanwhile, this one is found a cave.
It's so bad. Monster. Cutie butt. Currently January of 2024. It's actually mid-January. It has obviously been a couple months since I've abandoned this vlog. In the middle of filming this, October 7th happened. And with October 7th came the escalation of the ethnic cleansing that's currently ongoing in Gaza. 100 days have come and gone, and I just could not bring myself to finish this vlog. I can barely do anything without thinking of Gaza. My days have consisted of a lot of automation. It has consisted of a lot of burnout, and I'm just trying to survive in this capitalist hellscape, knowing that my tax dollars are funding this genocide while doing everything that I can as a citizen in this country to help the people of Gaza. I'm not going to get into the history of the colonial occupation and the genocide in Gaza right now, and Palestine more broadly. I think, frankly, that it is a personal and moral failing if you are uninformed at this point. So many resources exist, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to link a bunch of resources down below, everything from different charities on the ground that you can donate to. There's a lot of discussion about how effective that is, but it's going to range from that to different resources that talk about the colonial occupation and everything from the Nakba onward. I'm also going to link a template to call and email your elected officials and representatives to call for a ceasefire, and how to donate an eSIM to Gaza, because I think currently we are in one of the longest blackouts of the region since October 7th. I have also been reading a lot of Palestinian literature. It has been one small way that I feel like I can personally make sure that Palestinian culture is not being erased, because obviously cultural erasure is a large part of an ethnic cleansing. Palestinian lives and their culture is being targeted systematically and being eliminated by Israel. Churches, mosques, universities, libraries are all completely under rubble now, if not very, very damaged. And as someone who is of the Bangladeshi diaspora, whose parents and grandparents has survived a genocide, seeing these knowledge institutions and journalists and other intellectuals being targeted by Israel looks very, very familiar to me. It is in the playbook of genocide to target intellectuals. And I have just always been a really big proponent and advocate of the fact that reading fiction is a great vehicle of understanding. And not just for understanding, but also for knowledge and cultural empathy and resistance. So I have also been prioritizing Palestinian literature in my own TBR. That's not to say that you shouldn't be reading nonfiction books and only focusing on fictional tales. I think that there is room for both, and I think that it is necessary for both. But with that said, over the last few months, 100+ days, I have read, I think, 8 Palestinian books in the fiction space. The first one is Salt Houses by Hala Alyan. Salt Houses is an incredible multi-generational tale about a family, I believe from Nablus, during the Six-Day War that just has so much of Palestinian tradition weaved into the story. It chronicles many different family members throughout the course of their lives and really speaks to displacement and belonging and grief and survival. It is a book that I thought about for many, many months, long after I had finished it, which is definitely the theme for a lot of these books. So I really can't recommend Salt Houses enough. The next book that I read was a little bit more lighthearted because I do believe that it is really important to not just read trauma porn, essentially, from marginalized voices. It is really, really important, especially in the face of a genocide, to celebrate Palestinian joy and just everyday living. And I really believe this next graphic novel did that. It is called Naira and the Jinn by Isman Omar Atta, I believe. This book was a really great coming of age graphic novel that described the story of a little girl in school in America, and it is Ramadan. It's like the perfect tale, I think, to read for young readers around the month of Ramadan. And it's just a tale about friendship and finding yourself, fitting in, and just it's such a cozy read, and I really loved the pastel artwork. The next one is in a very similar vein, but it is for much more adult audiences. It is Her Night with the Duke by Diana Quincy. Diana Quincy is a Palestinian historical romance author, and I think the only thing that I'm going to say about this book was that it really felt like Bridgerton season 2. So Kate and Anthony, and kind of like the best respects of them, except Palestinian. I really loved how Diana Quincy was able to craft her characters. The love interest, I think, was a little bit bland, but as is white men. What really shone in the story for me was the main character's conviction and really deep-seated desire to find her own way. The next 2 books I read were by Itaf Ram. I read her books in opposite order of publications, which meant I read Evil Eye first and then A Woman Is No Man. I really inhaled Evil Eye. It was such a great tale of motherhood and mental health in Palestinian American women. Evil Eye, I was a little bit more, I think, reserved about. I think it's a very important read. It's very important to note that A Woman Is No Man is also a little bit semi-autobiographical, a fictionalized kind of account of like the author's experiences. So while I have conflicted feelings about it, because I do think it's really important, my main, I think, source of conflict comes from the fact that A Woman Is No Man, when it was published as a debut book, was a Read with Jenna book club pick. It really feels like the type of story that can be quite misconstrued by white people because it is the kind of account of Arab culture and like Muslim culture that they would expect. It's the type of book that I would give to my mother to read, but not any of my white friends, because these experiences are real and very valid. I have family members that similar things have happened to, similar abuses have happened to, but for a more general audience, it's not something that I think I would recommend. I'll kind of leave it at that. The next one is also a wonderful graphic novel. I don't really know how to explain this book except that it's one of the best graphic novels that I've ever read. It's Squire by Nadia Shammas and Sarah Al-Faghi. It is so good. It is basically girls and swords and manufactured propaganda. It's a fantastic story and a really important story, and something that I really hope that everyone reads at least once in their lifetime. I also reviewed 2 Palestinian books over on my Instagram. Badawi, which is a graphic novel by Layla Abdul Razak, which documents the life of the author's father, Ahmed, as he grew up as a Palestinian refugee in a refugee camp in Lebanon. And then the other book that I have reviewed over on my Instagram is Against the Loveless World by Susan Abul Hawa. I have also similarly very, very conflicted feelings for this book. I think it's an important read, but I highly recommend checking out my Instagram review because there is a lot of political nuance and political views that are reflected in the story of the author that just very much sits uncomfortably with me. It's the relationship to dictators and so many other things, but I review it so much more eloquently over on my Instagram. So if you're interested in that book, please give it a read, because I do think if you're going to read the book, it is very important to sort of have that knowledge going into it. With that, I think I'm done. I will see you in my next video where I recount my top reads of 2023. I know February is like tomorrow, but I think better late than never. And in the meantime, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're prioritizing Palestinian voices and using your voice to advocate on behalf of them. I hope that everyone who lives under occupation, from Palestine to Sudan to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and all oppressed people, are able to see their liberation in our lifetime. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.